welcome back, Straightforward TCG fans. I got a lot I want to go over, and not a whole lot of time to do it in. Artifacts. I talked about a lot of artifacts before. We made them. I've been testing them. I like what I see, but I don't know if I'll actually like trying to have them replace previous upgrades in order to get them in play. Now, the torpedo launcher is one that is not an artifact, but we have other cards like the Forge of Solus Prime, Mystical Energy, Star Saber, just to name a few. I think there was about 6 or 7 in total that I made artifacts. And then we also have the actual card, the Artifact Detector, a green action card where you can get them back in your hand at least. But then there's one card that can break the artifact, getting it in play. And that would be when I was playing around with Unspace. Because Unspace is a blank action. One of your characters has +1 to attack for every 3 green pips in your KO until end of turn. And remember, that's utilizing the card KO'd. Again, another blank pip card. We change the image. You may put a battle card from your hand into your KO. Well, in the meantime, we had the Unspace Ray, another blank pip card. So you don't want a whole lot of blank pip cards in your deck. I understand that. That's why I did this. So when you put the Unspace Ray on a specialist, choose an enemy character, put all its equipped upgrades into your opponent's KO. Well, then we went and made well, I'm glad I still have power. When I was recording this a second ago, a tree limb fell in pretty big right here in my backyard. So I got the feeling something else may have fallen. I don't know. That may or may not explain the 911 vehicles we're hearing. Could be something else. Unspace Stabilizer, another blank pip. This is a secret action. So we've gone through the different types of cards here. Reveal when one of your characters has at least an upgrade scrapped or KO'd. So when revealed, put one of the upgrades 1. So if your opponent played the Unspace Ray on a specialist and they just knocked out your 3 to 5 upgrades on your, your living weapon Megatron, and then you could actually have the Unspace Stabilizer in play. Wipe all your upgrades, put them in your KO. You had to put them in your KO, which would be good if you actually had some attack drones on him and you're actually wanting to use Unspace. There was a reason why I made this stuff like it is. Well, Unspace Stabilizer would allow you to put one of your upgrades back on the same character from which it was scrapped. Okay? Or KO'd. So, sorry. But the thing is so you're able to, your secret action would be in play. You take your upgrades, put them in your KO or your scrap, then you flip over Unspace Stabilizer and you can take one of those upgrades, whichever one you like, put it back on that character. This is the one time the Unspace Stabilizer would overrule the artifact verbiage that, let me just look at the Forge of Solus Prime. When you play an artifact, replace a weapon on a character with no empty weapon slots. It's like, well, it has a weapon slot now. Well, it was just on there. But the Unspace Stabilizer is going, okay, it's going back. This is the one time that would be allowed to be overruled. Is the Unspace Stabilizer as the artifacts are now, and I'm probably going to leave them this way. So there's that. So looking at all the stuff that I've made, looking at mixing it and seeing what's happening, is really neat. It's really neat. ATP can do with their own thing. You can try to mix my stuff with theirs, see what happens. I don't know. I've got a few of theirs printed out, but not a whole lot. And they're playing with the KO also, but not quite in the same way I am. So something to think about. Let's go and look at some new stuff here. We have looked at a lot of stuff because I have just made a lot of stuff. Now, Alien Tech is, you're going to go, well, this is just Camion Crash. Yeah, but Camion Crash is only a black pip. This is a blue-green pip. Alien Tech, when you're chosen melee character. So I gave the blue to melee characters. So they're only going to get the defense on the flip from Alien Tech. You may do 1 damage to your attacking character. It gets +2 to attack until end of turn. You may play another Alien Tech. Yeah. So, like Camion Crash, which you can utilize with a Brainstorm, and you could damage your character by 2 to be able to get an attack of 4. But with Alien Tech, you can just go boom, 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 1, 2, 3, but you're damaging your character, your melee character, by 3 to get an attack of 6. Now think of it this way. Say you got somebody with some draw power, you're playing casual and actually still using that, what is it? Battlefield mission, where if they're all, draw a card when they're all in bot mode and you get some cards, boom. Say you have a lot of actions. You play a Brainstorm, you play a Camion Crash, you play an Alien Tech. Alien Tech. Now you can damage that character, has to be melee though, by 4 and get an attack of 8. But you gotta have the health on your transformer to be able to do that. You're damaging your own character. Ouch. To be able to do Alien Tech. I think it works. It's only for melees. So a lot of our melee characters do tend to have, I won't say tend to, maybe more health than some others. It all depends on kind of the size of the character they were dealing with and made the character card in the first place. Optimus, Megatron, etc. So something to think about. Let's move on. Energy shocks. Didn't know you were going to give us electric shocks. Oh, just take the $5 and we'll zap you again. I only zap the big boys. Afterlife was pretty good. Emergency shocks is a blue pip utility with +1 to attack. Put on specialists only. So again, you're damaging your own characters for the sake of something. So after the equipped character attacks, it had more than Pierce 3, so it's got to be on a specialist. Your specialist, you better have a fusion board, maybe flip some black pips in there also. Then repair 1 to another character on your team. So it does have to be pierce damage. More than 3 pierce 3 damage. And so it's like the action of piercing. I forgot what. Ultimate power or whatever. The more pierce you're getting out of your specialist for the flip, you're able to repair 1 to one of your other characters on your team. That's pretty much it. It's just that simple. But sometimes pierce characters don't normally. Specialist characters normally don't have a whole lot of pierce, but you can get it on them. You can get a fusion bore on them. You can get emergency shocks. Notice it does not give pierce. It's a result of them attacking with pierce 3 or more. Get some black pips in there, fusion bore on them, emergency shocks, and repair 1 to another character. It's not much, but if that character has a toolbox on it, repair 2. I don't know, And that is a green pip card. So Energon Discharge Virus, hybrid black and blue. Hybrid black and blue. So we've got two things going on with this thing. Let's see what it is. First, it's a utility with +1 to attack. When you put this on a tapped character in bot mode, this is unique. When you put this on a tapped character in bot mode, it has stealth until the end of your opponent's turn. Basically until for defense. So the only time that's going to happen, this might be a decent card to give a tapped character stealth on the defense side for somebody you don't want them to get you with. Of course, we have tons of cards. We've got some official. I've made a few that breaks brave and breaks stealth, etc., etc. So there's that. But while this is on a specialist and it attacks for turn, do 2 damage to the equipped character, it has Pierce 4 for battle. So it's a little like Camion Crash, but instead of attack, you're getting Pierce 4. So something to think about. Should this have the +1 for attack? I think so, because otherwise, if it's not on, you might be able to put this on anybody else in bot mode to give them the stealth. If it's not a specialist, that's nothing. That's nothing. But because it's a hybrid pip color, I like having 2 abilities going on the upgrade, if you haven't noticed. So there's that. Let's look at a stratagem that I've tried. Well, I haven't tried it personally. I haven't even printed it out. But it's a neat G1 image from when Starscream just sort of went in. That was some of Chris Latta's weirdest work. Or that's not his real name, but I mean, Starscream just sort of turned into Mr. Roboto. And he's like talking about, well, and we were in the past and I was friends with Skyfire and Skyfire this and Skyfire, well, it was Jetfire. But, you know, they swapped his name out when he died and he came back to life and they dug him out for a second time. Figure that one out. So it's that image when Starscream was talking about Jetfire, Skyfire, that they used to be buddies before the war. And they actually went to Earth before the war. You know, go figure. So when you had Starscream and Jetfire on your starting team, Jetfire and Starscream also have the specialist trait. Normally they're not specialist characters. So you normally cannot play specialist cards on them. Exploratory Scientists is going to do that for you. So they're going to have their melee or ranged traits, and it's going to make them both specialists. And a lot of people complain about their Starscreams. I think this might be the kicker that might help a little bit. So, and then Starscream has Safeguard 3 while undamaged. Once she's damaged, that's gone. So, you know, think of Jetfire trying to cover for Starscream. When Starscream scraps an enemy upgrade, repair 1 to Jetfire. It's a neat, also, we got the hybrid faction in the background on here because they were both, well, I almost want to say Skyfire, Jetfire was like non-denominational. Maybe he's a Baptist. I don't know. I am. But no. That, you know, Jetfire was a Decepticon at first, supposedly, before the war. But now he's a good guy because he didn't. Anyway. So that's why that we got the hybrid faction is for the story telling behind all this. So there's that. So there's a lot going with this 1-star stratagem. When you play a Starscream and Jetfire together, could you have 2 Starscreams? I think we have a 5-star and a 7-star Starscream. So if you have those 2 and the 10-star Jetfire, I think we have 2 Jetfires. I've been playing with the rare from Wave 1 lately. So is this okay? I think the repair is 1 is all it needs. Safeguard 3 is nice for any character. I thought that would be a neat thing to give to Starscream, make them both specialists, a nice buddy stratagem card to go with Jetfire and Starscream. They're both planes. Add in those plane type traded battle cards into your deck. See what happens. Might be too strong, might not be too strong. It might just be fun. That's what a lot of stuff I'm just trying to do is just fun. This is not tournament worthy. This is just all casual. We've already, I think we looked at Factionless Full Body Skin, Human Shields, Not Alone Quillian Block. Let's look at Red Rust real quick. Red Rust, which is a white and green pip utility. This is interesting. And I had this image from the comic, and it looks a little grainy, but it still looks okay. And when I take pictures of the comic, I will, I'm just using my phone. I'm not scanning. It's not pristine. I still flip the images. I'll still change the saturation, the color a little bit. So it's not identical, but it isn't. And this is flipped, and it's first aid looking at the Red Rust stuff. When you put this on a specialist, this is not Mother May I. Do 1 damage to the equipped character, then do 1 damage to each enemy character. Armed hovercraft. So this is basically an armed hovercraft for specialists, but you got to damage them when you do it. But another neat thing with this is that your ranged characters are the ones that can get this off the flip. Not the specialists that can use it to be able to get the armed hovercraft effect. Now your ranged characters can get the effect of armed hovercraft. So there's that. And then if you haven't already noticed, there's -1 defense down there on the bottom. So it's gonna give you the armed hovercraft ability when you damage them, and it's gonna drop their defense down by 1. So it's an uncommon card. I almost made it a common, but I didn't. And I got the reminder text: a character's defense cannot go below 0. And then we have the green pip plus ranged is a green pip, except it has no battle effect when flipped for a non-ranged character. I'm dancing. I don't know why. So that's why it looks wordy, because I'm covering the bases here. So the defense can't go below 0, and that only the ranged characters can get it on the flip. But it's basically armed hovercraft for your specialists. I kind of like that, and I had the hardest time trying to figure out how to deal with Red Rust. To try to treat it like a poison or something, and I'm like, well, let's just say he throws it, he hurts him, and he hurts all his enemy. This seems to make sense. I like this. And let's look at one last one, and that's going to be revealed. We're revealing revealed. We'll reveal, not revealed, but we are revealing it. Anyway, it's a black pip for the mercenaries only on the flip. It is a mercenary faction card. It is common. Let's see how this is. Your opponent reveals the top card of their deck. If it is an action card, your mercenary attackers get +2 to attack until end of turn. Don't open again. Thank you. I have to drag that big old limb back around to the front. So there's that. It is another mercenary card to add in with your mercenary characters, mercenary decks, which, between the ARC, ATP, and me, we might have enough to make an interesting mercenary deck. And I hear there's some part effects of the mercenaries that they're going, oh, this is just too powerful. Oh, this is just too powerful. So there's that. But in the meantime, because of certain things, I went back and looked at Opportunistic Scrap, because we have opportune cards that were official. I made opportunistic parts and opportunistic scrap. If you remember, opportunistic parts is black and green, +1 in defense. When you put it on a mercenary repair 1 to your Autobots. So, playing around with the official kind of cards and doing something a little different. Well, Opportunistic Scrap, when I made Tripedicus, I forgot about this card. I didn't forget, but I did. Because Tripedicus has his stratagem. When after you scrap 9 upgrades off your characters and your enemy's characters, and if your enemy scraps any of yours, you keep adding to that counter. Once you get to 9, you can build Tripedicus. Well, Opportunistic Scrap, originally anybody could use. On top of that, it was a scrap 4 off the top of your deck. Wow, that would have been awesome. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. So what I was looking through some of my stuff, and it's like, okay, put on mercenaries only. Number 1, that was the first thing I changed. Number 2, instead of scrap 4, scrap 3. Now let's see here. Now Tripedicus, with his total star count and stratagem is 25. So you can't have a mercenary with him in order to get that to pull off. Oh, well, I have a card. I can't find it right off where that... I can see the image. I forgot the name, and I can't find it in all my mess. That allows you to scrap cards off the top of your deck, or your other character's deck. So, you know, wherever that is, that could help Tripedicus. But I was making sure Opportunistic Scrap didn't, to where it could only go on a mercenary. You can't put another character with Tripedicus, but you're able to give, scrap 3 cards off the top of your deck, not 4. It gets, the equipped character gets +1 to attack for each mercenary card scrapped this way until end of turn. So there's that. A couple of more mercenary faction cards to go in with that idea, to help things out. And there's more coming, but all this seems to be meshing rather well, I think. Haven't really gotten to fully test a lot of this stuff. Now, I also just happened to see, and it's gone. I don't know where I put it. And then there's grab it from Subspace, a blank action. You can take a utility from your scrap, play it on the character. So kind of in the same line as some of the Unspace stuff. It's really all I have time for. We'll see you next time. Throw some scraplets to the like button if you like what you watch. And as always, let's flip out and let's roll for it.